Good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Colonel Sitaram, Senior Consultant in Cardiology, Apollo Hospital, Secunderabad. I am a doctor since 1971. Joined the army during the Indo-Pak War, and afterwards I became a physician first, and then I got a doctorate in cardiology. Now retired in 28 years service ke baad. Then last 25 years I am with Apollo Hospital, Secunderabad as a cardiologist. What we wanted to discuss today is that recently we have all been hearing about the incidence of heart disease has been increasing. Everyone talks about that, and every odd day we hear that there is an emergency and somebody has collapsed. A young man who's just on his first visit somewhere is collapsed, or a young cricketer has hit a six and the next ball is found dead, dying of a cardiac arrest. This has raised a lot of concern, and then we thought we will spread among the public what exactly are the features, and then what you can do. Supposing you are the person on the spot, what will you do? You can't keep on looking for a doctor, looking for a cardiologist. So there are some things which you can do yourself. This is what I wanted to talk today, is that why is the incidence increasing? What causes a heart attack, and how can we prevent it in the society, in our homes? What exactly is heart attack, and how do you reverse or revive a person who has already had a cardiac arrest? So this is for people who do not know about the anatomy of the heart. You can see that there are 4 chambers, and 4 chambers of these are containing blood. Now I am pointing to the left side, the red color, this is the pure blood and this is the impure blood. There are 2 upper chambers and 2 lower chambers. The blood comes from above chambers to lower chambers and then goes to a different tube. The blue one has got a blue tube, and the red blood has to go in a red tube. The blue one goes for purification in the lungs, and the red blood, the purified blood, now goes all over the body. So this is the basic circulation. Now how does it reach the heart itself? The blood, of course, reaches every organ, but what happens to the heart, which is a hard-working organ, the hardest working, because it has no rest. Whether you're sleeping or waking, it is constantly beating, and it requires its own nutrition. So God has devised some arteries at the back of the heart and the front of the heart. Now you got 3 arteries, 2 you can see. So this is called left anterior descending artery, and this has got the circumflex, which goes round the heart. Now these are the ones which are very, very vital. We call it coronary arteries, and then they are the ones which carry blood to the heart. Now, but like all tubes and pipes in our own house, they get corroded and damaged within time, because this is a young man's blood vessels. You can see thin, and as he grows older, they get more and more thicker due to deposition of fat, cholesterol, and towards old age, there are some places where there is a total almost narrowing of the inner lumen because of the cholesterol deposits inside the artery. So this is what causes heart attacks. Now this is a picture of a heart which has become, some areas are black. These are the areas which have got dead because the blood supply has got suddenly cut off. And when you open the coronary artery, small little artery, which is hardly few millimeter wide, but inside we find that the thick layer of fat, the cholesterol deposits within the wall of the artery. So this is what we worried about. Now this, if you take a cut section of the coronary artery, we got 3 layers. Outer one is called tunica adventitia. The middle layer is muscular layer, it is capable of contraction. It's called media. And the inner layer, blue one, is called intima. It is below the intima that the cholesterol keeps forming and encroaches onto the lumen, so slowly reducing the caliber of the vessel. Now here is called coronary angiogram. You must have heard a lot of your friends who undergo coronary angiogram. This is injection of a dye into the coronary arteries, and you can see the one artery here, and you can see this is the most important artery. This is the left anterior descending artery, and you can see that there is a small gap here. That means there is a big clot of blood there, and that's why the person is suffering severe pain and is likely to have a heart attack in this region. So this is a display of the right coronary. Now here left is our right coronary artery. The right coronary artery is like a C shape, it runs around the heart, and suddenly you can feel here there is a big chunk of cholesterol lying there, and it is impeding the traffic inside the artery. So this person is likely to have severe chest pain, and sometimes they may even faint while working. Now, this is how the arteries get narrowed because of cholesterol deposition. See that? Yellow one is all bad deposits, and if it's totally narrowed, it's like it becomes a chink where even a small little few red blood cells can't go. The person has severe angina, may even drop down dead. Now, we have been studying why this is happening, and scientists are studying the cholesterol plaque, how it is forming, and what exactly should we do to prevent that. A lot of research has been going on, and we all know that blood supply, once it is blocked, the area undergoes death. Now, here is a heart in which coronary artery has been blocked, so this entire area has become black. So there is an area totally dead, and this is the area which is almost going to be dead, but it is short supply of blood. It is just managing somehow, and the other area is also at risk. So it is like a cyclone ravaged right in the center, the maximum destruction, and around that there is also some amount of destruction. So the entire thing is known as a heart attack. So these are the arteries. Why do you say only coronary arteries? We can get black blood clots or blockages in the hands or legs or anywhere, but they are not dangerous. But the same thing happens inside the heart, that it might suddenly lead to cardiac arrest. Now, what does the doctor do after does an angiogram? He finds that there is a block, and he puts a balloon to open it up from inside and puts what is known as a stent. Now, this is a small metallic frame around the balloon, like an umbrella. When you open the umbrella, all the spokes come out. Like this, the stent opens up, and you have a open artery. And then the balloon is taken away, and only the stent is remaining. Now, these stents are very, very expensive because they are manufactured with great precision. Each of them costs anything from 60,000 to a few lakhs of rupees. Now, we got varieties of stents. As the time goes on, we have got a plain stent, and then there are covered stent, and we got drug coated stent. The stent which is left in place as the person goes back to work, and these stents now have got coated with drug to repel any blood clots. So this is the latest advances. Now, here is again an artery which is showing total blockage in big deposits of fat. This is the arteries, and blood flow has been restored. Now, supposing the cardiologist cannot get at the clot and cannot manage it, he hands it over to the surgeon. And what the surgeon does is put a alternate path. Supposing the road cannot be made all right, they build a diversion. So the surgeons call what is known as bypass surgery. So bypass surgery is nothing but there are some spare arteries like stepneys lying around not doing any work. So they direct these arteries right onto the block area so that the blood can now flow and the heart can continue to work. So this is called bypass surgery. Sometimes there is not enough of these stepneys lying around in the heart, around the heart. So they take from the leg veins. Sometimes you must have seen your friends have a big scar on the legs. They take the veins which are carrying impure blood and then reverse it, wash it, and then put it as a conduit so that the patient's under pressure blood reaches the small little blockage artery. So this is called coronary bypass surgery. So these are the various techniques. Now this has got various techniques that you have shown in detail here. I hope you can see the pictures. So there's a single bypass, there's a double bypass technique, then the triple and the quadruple bypass. So nowadays the surgeons are getting bolder and bolder, and jitna blocks hai, I think they are able to cross. Now, what exactly is the cause? We have to catch the enemy at the root. Who are our enemies, and who are these factors which are making our life miserable? So let us start with genetics. Family history is very, very important because the heart disease runs in families. Of course, then we got the conventional risk factors: smoking, diabetes, high blood pressure is called hypertension, and most important another factor is dyslipidemia. Dyslipidemia means the cholesterol is very high, and the content of the cholesterol from the good cholesterol all become bad cholesterol. So there is a change in the lipid profile. Then the other things are lack of exercise. Man is an animal. He is supposed to go and hunt for his food, but nowadays we just call up and the Swiggy delivers it at your hometown. So we just don't even do any work, and we are eating almost as normal as ever, and these calories are expended into calories and become turned into fats, and that's how a lot of people have obesity and also heart disease. Then everything is okay, but now they have to handle multiple portfolios. There's too much stress in life. That also is one of the risk factors. And lastly, the recent epidemic, that COVID epidemic, has taught us that even a virus has got a role. It damages the heart endothelium, that the endothelium has now become prone for blood clots. So these are our enemies, we call it. This is okay if the person is 60 years, 70 years, something is bound to happen. But what happens in premature heart disease? Why should a student who just finished his engineering or a law now suddenly find himself short of breath and fall down unconscious? Why is it happening? In heredity, all this smoking, alcohol, lack of exercise, but most important thing is the food pattern. The change in pattern of food is also very important. And secondly, the oil which is being used to cook the food, that becomes very important. And there are many other risk factors, including viral infections. And in US, they said people who have taken vaccine, now they are having heart disease. Now these are all things to be adjusted. So some of the people say, Doc, look, in my home, all of us eating the same food, but why should I get the heart attack while my other brothers are free? There's an answer. One of the excuses. First, we ask them, how many members are there in the family? That is 1, 2, 3, 4. Next is, what cooking oil do you use for cooking? And how much oil does one buy in a month? And how often do you eat outside? These are the questions we normally pose to the patients who come for us for a checkup. The important thing is that allows the allowance for the oil for food consumption is 500 ml per month per head. So supposing there are 4 persons in the house, we expect the oil consumption to be 2 liters. But suddenly when we check with the lady wife of the house, she says, oh my God, I take 4 liters. Still men folks are not happy with the type of food. So we have to cut down on the quantity of oil. Number 2, is there many types of oil. Now, what exactly do we mean by types of oil? Let us check the next slide. So we have to say 500 ml per guest, 500 ml per head per person. Plus, supposing if you say there is always guests dropping into my house, okay, another add 500 ml per month. And do not reheat oils. Another important thing that we have discovered is oil is used in our house just to heat up the vegetable or some other non-vegetarian dish, and afterwards the lady of the house throws away the oil. There are people who are in the hotel industry, they don't throw. They will continue to use the oil as much as possible to get the maximum profit, so that the expense is less and the taste is better. And to add to that, we got a new variety of things called roadside bandi foods. Roadside small little cart making on the spot samosas or little parathas or something like that, and they make very chatpata foods, pakodas, which are tasty. And so all the young people who are baking work and going home, they feel like stopping there, have a social chit chat and munch foods which are tasty, cheap and also easy to procure. But what we have discovered is this oil that is supposed to be used once and thrown away by the hotel is not thrown away by the hotel. The hotel guys is ready to sell it to these bandi fellows, and these small little vendors, they go and buy this oil, and the next day from morning to evening the oil is just bubbling. It is sizzling, and various types of food are prepared in that. Now when an oil is got chemical content, when it's so much time it's boiled, it becomes rancid, and one of the molecules in the oil molecules, they become very harmful. So we are always suggest to the patient, without scaring them, okay, avoid going to hotels and party cooking to as much as possible, and see that your oil is thrown away. And supposing if you go and have samosa outside in the roadside bandi, it's fine, that's not going to kill you, but don't make it a habit. Now imagine, we are educated people, we can understand this. There are many young, poor people who are migrant labor who come to for us for working roadside, road laying or tree cutting, something like that. They don't even have a place to stay, leave alone cooking. So this guy, after finishes his road laying work, when he goes home, he takes a packet of this food from the roadside bin, that is the packet of samosa, and he feeds it to the whole family. The young children, everybody gets only used to the roadside cooked food from the rancid oil. So these are the certain factors which are increasing our problems. Now, when we check the person's cholesterol levels, we have what is known as a lipid profile. When I was a student, we used to just check the cholesterol. Is high cholesterol, normal cholesterol? That's the only thing we knew. But now we know that the cholesterol is not one component, it has got many components. One is called triglyceride, second thing is HDL, high density cholesterol, and third thing is called low density cholesterol. So by density, the oils or the cholesterol in the diet or oils can be classified as triglycerides, HDL, LDL cholesterol, and also cholesterol ratios and all are calculated. Why should you understand this? Because there are some good oils and some are bad. So we call them, I teach a lot of students, that's why I call them good, bad and ugly. The good one is HDL cholesterol. The good one is HDL cholesterol. It should be as high as possible because that protects your heart. The bad one is the LDL cholesterol, the low density cholesterol. That means HDL cholesterol is high density, very densely packed molecules. Low density is loosely packed molecules in the chemistry, and that causes maximum blockages in the artery. And the third one is the ugly, that's the triglyceride, good, bad and ugly. Triglycerides. Triglycerides are harmless, but they do go up in certain conditions like diabetes and thyroid. So when I go to the medical college to teach the students, or when the patients come to me, I ask them, have you seen the picture Sholay? Yes, I seen. So who is the hero in the Sholay picture? There the hero is Amitabh Bachchan. Okay, HDL hero. You should increase HDL as much as possible. Who is the villain? There's a Gabbar Singh. We say Gabbar Singh is LDL cholesterol. Keep him as low as possible. And who is Gabbar Singh's assistant? Samba, that fellow with triglycerides by himself. Triglycerides cannot damage you, but when LDL cholesterol is high, Samba can definitely hurt you. So this is the way I teach my students and my patients and try to get them to learn about cholesterol. Now this is the map of what exactly happens to your food when you take food in the intestines. Now here is the intestines. You are eating your food and the food goes to into all parts, and then from there the juices are extracted. Okay, and when the juices enter the blood, it is like Majestic Terminal. Some train has stopped. People have come from Delhi, Madras. They all come out. They are looking for autos to go somewhere. So this is the chylomicron. So chylomicron are small little molecules which come and ask where you like to go. You like to go to Kempagoda. You like to go to Brigade Road. What? So the chylomicrons are the carriers of this fat which you have eaten, and these chylomicrons are next taking these in the blood, and some of the molecules say, okay, we'll get down to the muscles for important things. So some of them are going to the adipose tissue, and ultimately whatever is left, that is called the remnant particles, they are guided to the liver, and the liver now sorts them out into whatever body's requirement. Cholesterol is made in the liver. We don't eat cholesterol by such. When you can have butter, you can have ghee, you can oil, but ultimately all these things are dismantled like a computer and reassembled inside the liver, and we get what is known as the synthesized cholesterol. This synthesized cholesterol is very important for the body's functions. For example, the hormones of the body, the fat for the little children who are going to be born. So these are the various important roles of cholesterol, but there are certain factors which are bad. There is a low density cholesterol. Low density cholesterol is of no use to majority of the people, so it keep on going around and line up the arteries inside the blood, inside the heart. So they cause all the blockages. So I hope this has given you an idea that our lipid metabolism is very, very important to cause the damages. So here is again when you take the blood, you got HDL cholesterol. 40 to 60 is normal. If the person has got 30, 34, that means his HDL protection is gone. So LDL cholesterol is bad cholesterol. People come to me with 150, 180, 200. We have to immediately treat the LDL cholesterol with statin drugs. Like we got atorvastatin, simvastatin, various types of drugs to reduce the cholesterol. And then the triglycerides, which I told you, are not very harmful, but they are also important in certain conditions like thyroid condition or also diabetes. Now, how do you improve HDL? I wish all of us could get a hold of a tablet, and why not we all take HDL and then let the hero tackle all the cholesterol. Unfortunately, there's no medicine which can increase HDL cholesterol. The only thing which can increase HDL cholesterol, exercise, exercise and exercise. Exercise is very important for the body, and it converts all the cholesterol to high density cholesterol, which is going to protect you. And also, if you eat sprouts, that like in the vegetables, you sprouting seeds and all, that contains HDL cholesterol. These are the secrets I share with my patients. So here is a traditional way of Indian cooking. Earlier we used to extract oil by grounding it, and now we got palm oil, we got sunflower oil, we got coconut oil. So many new oils have entered the market. Now we got beautiful labels and refined oil and double refined oil, vitamin added oils and all that. But most important thing is the new oils which are coming up, like rice bran oil, which seems to be a future game changer, because they have said people who take rice bran oil have got less heart problems. But other oils have got, our oils are better, they cause less blood clotting and things like that. So what I tell the patients is very difficult to make out which company is telling the truth. So like every car, like Maruti car has got its own advantages. You got some other Toyota, it's got its own advantages. But we can't keep on changing cars just because one car is better. So we can do that with oils. I tell my patients simply, from January to March, stick to one oil. And April to June, change your oil. And May, June to July again, say August, you change oil. So at least 4 different types of cooking oil available in the market can be used to get the maximum mileage of lipid protection. So these are the types of lectures we give to make people understand. Now we come into the topic of cardiac arrest. A lot of people do not know what is heart attack, what is cardiac arrest, and what is heart failure. When suddenly comes someone and says, my uncle had a heart attack, you say, oh my God, is he alive? Oh no, it's a mild heart attack. So you mean to say heart attack can be mild also? What about cardiac arrest? My aunt had a cardiac arrest, means definitely there is no mild, moderate. Cardiac arrest means it's the most severe, worst emergency can happen, and the patient may not survive. So cardiac arrest is different from heart attack. Heart attack is only due to blockage of the artery. It can be small artery means small, mild heart attack. Major artery means major heart attack. But still, if the patient can come early to the doctor, we have got injections to dissolve the clots and restore the blood supply without any stents. But if the arrival at the hospital is delayed, then we have to put him through the regular tablets followed by angiogram to see which are the artery block, and try to open the blood the vessels by putting a balloon or stent and restore it. And within a week or so, he is back home. But he has to now convalesce because already heart, 25% of the heart is damaged. Now he cannot go and run the long races. Now he has to only steadily, he has to walk and improve. So this is how we have to understand. Now coming to what is cardiac arrest. Is it the same as heart attack? No. Cardiac arrest is sudden blockage of all the cardiac activity, and within 1 minute the person can be gone from the earth. So is it the same as heart attack? What is heart failure? Heart failure is when the heart is damaged but still trying to pump, but it's unable to fulfill the task. It is like a car with a bad engine. It is trying to pull the load, but it's unable to pull the load. So heart failure is a damaged heart, and heart attack is a one blockage, one episode. Cardiac arrest means he already is in last stages. Sudden cardiac death is a very well-known nomenclature. A person who is otherwise not expected to die suddenly loses consciousness and dies within an hour. So this is called as a sudden cardiac death. And again, I told you like what's myocardial infarction. the same as heart attack. When myocardium died, there is for some portion, we call it myocardial infarction. If this too large a portion of the myocardium is dead, then is of course cardiac arrest, he will die. Heart failure again, where the muscle of the heart is damaged so much that it starts to fail, leading to low blood pressure, fluid collection of the body, swelling all over, being tired and bedridden. This is heart failure. These are the three terminologies. In India, we got approximately 7 lakhs deaths annually. Average age is around 62, and 10% of all the deaths in our country are due to sudden death. Now, you have seen so many VIPs suddenly dropping off and then being recovered, but many people are not even known and they die. So, who are at the risk of sudden death? Those with decreased pumping of the heart, low ejection fraction on echocardiogram, which is the study of the pumping of the heart. That means sometimes you can say, oh my God, his valves are damaged, his heart is not pumping enough blood, he is likely to have a cardiac arrest, be careful. Or one previous heart attack is one more commonest reason. Once heart attack means second time it may be more severe and may lead to total damage. What about normal individuals? Is it possible that a person who is absolutely in a youth and a absolutely top class form and still have a cardiac arrest? Yes. Apparently normal people with background of diabetes, high blood pressure, smoking may have sudden death with no premonition. Sudden cardiac death may also be the first manifestation of a cardiac arrest. It can also happen in drowning, electric shock lightning arrest, or respiratory arrest, smoke inhalation in a locked room, drug overdosage, or severe allergic reaction to any injection or insect bite. Now, so many times we heard a person so enthusiastic, he goes for tennis practice and keeps on practicing, and suddenly he overdoes it and falls down dead. It is known that exercise has to be in moderation and gradually build up stamina. A person who does exercise without proper acclimatization or going through gradually may overexert himself and suddenly may collapse. So many times we have seen it in the cricket ground or in the matches that people who never had a activity in their life. I believe one of the functions, he organized a nice function. The person who organized the reunion of old boys' friends, he during tug of war show, he was trying to pull that rope and he died on the spot. So this is called unacclimatized exercise. So my request is all of you should exercise enough and be ready to face challenges if at all required. What is sudden cardiac arrest? He falls down, lies limp, stops breathing, no pulse felt, and becomes unconscious. So what do you do? People don't even know what to do. An apparently normal person, well dressed with a suitcase in his hand, should I call ambulance or should I call the policeman? Maybe we need some water. People are really puzzled. Apparently normal person feels dizzy, loses consciousness, lies limp with no activity, stops breathing, and no pulse felt. He is just moments away from paradise. Sudden cardiac arrest. In 1 year, 7 lakhs of our country women have it, and it takes more lives in India than all the cancers, all the influenza, pneumonia, auto accidents, HIV, firearms, all this combined together is still less. Sudden cardiac deaths are all the time occurring. What are the causes of sudden cardiac arrest? Of course, blockage, I told you, high blood pressure, viral infection, vaccine-related myocarditis, and inappropriate exercise, sometimes child birth defects, and various other drugs and others. So here we've got a sample of ECG. You all know that electrocardiogram is one of the things they undergo for a checkup. When you go, the doctor says ECG. ECG is a small little graph here. Now here you can see that the small waveform, we have given them name. This is baseline, P, QRS and T. P, QRS, T. They all occur in the same manner. Every time the person heart is beating, 72 times it beats per minute. And every time the heart is beating, it will get a PQRST in the same sequence. This is a PQRST. The doctors keep on looking at it. And there is a pathway for the impulse to come up from above down. And each part, there is the upper part, the middle part and lower part, PQRST. That is described on the ECG. Now when all of them are in one line, you can see all of them so beautifully, equally spaced, because the heart is very punctual. Every time it gives the heartbeat in time. Narrow, thin lines, PQRST, this is a normal heart. But suddenly, a rogue activity starts in the heart. Suddenly, a person who's not supposed to be talking in this lecture suddenly starts talking something. That means this is the ventricle, which is this ischemic. Suddenly it starts shouting, I'm not getting blood, I'm not getting blood. This is called ventricular ectopic beat. We call it PVC, premature ventricular contraction. They are a sign of alarm for the doctor. And so when the ventricles start dying, suddenly dishes out like this. All of them, no peak, no Q, no RST, only big bizarre waves. Now this is heart is just shaking, it's not even pumping, it is a sign of about to die. So here you can first portion of the ECG shows a heart attack patient, and suddenly the heart starts going disorderly. It keeps on going haywire and suddenly slowly it stops. The person is dead. So this is called cardiac arrest. So these are the cardiac arrest. The thing is that if you see these patients, they've got a big scar on the heart. Now we can save them. If you all know how to take care of a patient, because he gives you some time to react. So all the patients suddenly don't die. So if you are in time and revive the heart by beating or pressing the heart, it can be revived. So this is a picture of a diagram, basic life support CPR. Now doctors are told there are two types of life support. One is called basic life support, that is a cardiopulmonary resuscitation, and second thing, advanced life support, which is done in the hospital. So basic life support CPR means cardiopulmonary resuscitation. That means you have to pump the heart from outside only with your bare hands, and meanwhile somebody else is trying to give some mouth to mouth breathing. So these are called cardiopulmonary resuscitation techniques. Now these are hands on the chest and both the hands are locked. You see how he's standing, and both hands are locked, and he has to bend from his waist and deliver the pressure. So these are the various tracings that we know. Cardiopulmonary resuscitation is a emergency life-saving procedure, and as many people as possible should learn. And there are also new additions. This is called defibrillator machines. Now in many aerodromes or railway stations, on the wall we have a machine called defibrillator. Now defibrillator, immediately a person this is a dummy, the patient is suddenly fallen down, people run with the defibrillator and put the paddles on the chest, and then the patient starts.
Just click on the PowerPoint.
Yeah. So this is how the patient can be revived using a external defibrillator. This is a more advanced model. I think most of the airports in India also are getting this technique. Now there are round patches, if you can see. These are patches of electrodes which are stuck to the chest, and there's outside battery. You switch on the battery, it keeps on giving a shock 70 times per minute, and make the heart activated to pump. So this is the next stage. So this is supposing sorry, there is a external paddles here called. If you got a defibrillator, in every hospital we got a defibrillator, and we apply one on the apex of the heart, that is on the below the nipple here, and one above, so that when you press the buttons, the electrical charge jumps from this area to this area across the heart, and heart is now jolted into action. Again it starts beating. So this is called defibrillation, but everybody can't get this. So this is in hospital prompt defibrillation. Trained personnel, nurses, technicians, they all know. In our hospital also, we got a code. The hospital may be having 6 floors, 7 floors, or maybe nowadays now 9 floors. And whatsoever, one patient in one corner has a cardiac arrest, the entire team has to run there. So, which we call it code blue. So on the public address system, it announced code blue, room number 512, code blue, room number 512. 3 times it is announced, and all the people who are involved in this will suddenly leave whatever they are doing, rush to the space. One person gets the defibrillator, another person gets the medicine tray, another person gets the oxygen cylinder. Within minutes, the person is revived, and we can save lives. This is possible in a hospital. But what happens in the railway station or in the bus stand? That's what we have to interest. So it's called bystander cardiopulmonary resuscitation. So today we've got a small video demonstration done by my friend anesthetist Dr. Satish, who is going to demonstrate to you uh, how a bystander with some knowledge of how to do it can keep on pressing the heart and keep on the circulation going till the ambulance comes and the trained person will take over to the hospital. Okay. So the location out of hospital cardiac arrest most often occurs in homes, residences, followed by public settings and nursing homes. If performed immediately, cardiopulmonary resuscitation can double or triple the chance of survival of an out of hospital cardiac arrest. So most of the time in the hospital we can save. Out of the hospital, suppose you have cardiac arrest, can he be saved? This is a graph showing the earlier you intervene, the more people you can save. As each minute ticks by, your chances of surviving are less. 10 minutes, everything is over. 10 minutes, the brain packs up. No more heart circulation can revive the brain and the person is declared dead. So the most crucial 10 minutes of your life are important. So brain damage occurs 4 to 6 minutes after cardiac arrest, becomes irreversible 8 to 10 minutes afterwards. So survival rates are now, if done early, we got 2%, 8%, and early CPR followed by defibrillation, 20% can survive, and early CPR, defibrillation, and also cardiac life support, we can still save about 30% of individuals. And this is over the years, which we can see from 2022 to now 2020, the number of people whom we are saving from cardiac arrest is increasing. That means our science, our training of our personnel, all the first aid being trained in various schools is working, and sometimes lives are saved. So each of you can say, why me? 70% of all sudden cardiac death occur outside hospital, homes, malls, airports, stations, and reachable. To call a doctor, it is too late. Maybe patient may be alive, but brain may not be. So every family should have one savior who is trained so that he can save the family. In every office, every neighborhood, or every school, there should be many saviors. So this is the message, and we have got a program how to do it properly, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, whom to do it, and if you have a automatic device, emergency device, defibrillator, how to use it. They're all very specialized programs going on. So each of the companies should get in touch with the nearest cardiac team and see, please send us to your place of work, and all the people can learn. We do it in Hyderabad. We have done it in Bangalore also. I'm sure many more lives can be saved. Let us watch a short video of the CPR by Dr. Satish, who is a critical care specialist.
Good evening all. I am Dr. Satish. Today I am going to demonstrate the cardiopulmonary resuscitation. The importance of this topic is, nowadays we are hearing that many healthy people, while doing the gym or while traveling, we feel that we are looking in the newspapers like sudden death is happening. The most common cause of sudden death is acute myocardial infarction. So as a bystander, as somebody who is standing besides that patient, need not be a doctor, need not be a healthcare person. So after this video, if you can watch this, you are a saver for such patients. Like, I will demonstrate you how best you can save such patients. I come across a patient who is unresponsive here. So first check the responsiveness of the patient. How to check the responsiveness? Point 1. I have to ask him, hello, how are you sir? Can you hear me? Hello? No, he is not responsive. So my next step is, I have to check his carotid pulse, that is the major pulse, which is next to my throat. So if I keep my fingers here, just check for 10 seconds. If I am not able to feel the pulse, yes, now I have to start the chest compressions. The chest compressions are, I have to use my both hands, one hand over the other, and it is the line between two nipples and the central line. So you can, if you draw two lines like joining the nipples and there is central line, there is a plus happens, that is the place I have to keep my heel of my any of my dominant hand. Next is, I have to add my next hand over that and come straight onto the patient, like my hands are straight here. I'm not doing any angle here, I'm on the exactly on the patient. Now I have to do compressions like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have to do these compressions at the rate of 100 times per minute. There should not be bend here and there should not be fulcrum is here. Only movement should come from the hip. See, I am again demonstrating. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So this is how we have to do 100 times per minute the speed, and every compression should be 5 centimeters or at least half of the AP diameter of the chest. So I have to go at least half the AP diameter or minimum 5 centimeters. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the effective CPR. Thank you.
I think all of you have seen the video, but in real life it's totally different matter. But at least somebody takes the lead and understands what's happening. You've done your little bit towards saving a patient's life. While you are doing this, of course, other people are calling the doctor, they're getting arranged an ambulance. Now, mouth-to-mouth breathing is not possible with the present scenario of infections, is that. So a lot of people even, they will go away, they will not go to the patient because I can't do a mouth-to-mouth breathing. Fine, just do cardiac massage, that's good enough. And keep the cardiac massage going as long as possible, because brain keeps on getting blood supply every time you push the heart down. So with that, I think the patient chances of remaining alive are much more. So we do it in even little babies who are born from mothers after the delivery or after the cesarean. The babies don't breathe. So what we do is take it baby, right? Then slowly massage the chest, and after some time the babies start crying. Oh, such a wonderful thing to see a newborn child cry. That means you will just given life a chance. So similarly, a person who is about to die, if you are there, and earlier when we were there was also called thumb version. Means you hit take a fist and hit on the patient's chest one big blow, and that itself can jolt the heart into back to normal pumping. Thumb followed by cardiac massage. This is what we have said. And what about this oxygen? There is enough oxygen already in the patient's blood because he has already taken that. He has not spent that. So there is enough oxygen remaining till after some time his carbon dioxide starts to build up. At that time they put a ventilator and slowly remove the carbon dioxide, replenish with oxygen from outside. But you have to only do the lying down, see that he doesn't hurt himself, and keep on pumping as long as possible. Any questions on this? Kindly.
Groundnut oil is good, sir, for cooking.
Yeah, most of the groundnut oil they are very good. They are prepared from grinding of the extracted from the groundnut. That's good. No, but nowadays there are so many oils that instead of sticking to only groundnut oil and only sticking to rice bran oil, we got varieties. Now rice bran oil is coming into a big wave because something new, and it seems to work in many people. We will never be sure unless there thousands and thousands of people take and we take the health data. But I think already people are on the job. Computers, artificial intelligence is being used to study what is the pattern of the oil they're taking. But the most important thing is oil intake. I insist that the patient to understand oil is not the medium to take a bath in. Oil is just to add a bit of taste. So for flavor, we call it. Not for entirely the oil should be greasy, oil on your plate, oil on your fingers, oil on your tissue paper. That's not correct. So reduce the amount of oil, make it just enough to taste. That's what we have to teach the children. So especially if there are children in the house, they are easily attracted by the roadside foods. You must understand that they are not at all hygienic and they contain a lot of rancid oil which are dangerous.
Is CPR applicable for heart attack as well as cardiac arrest?
No, heart attack means the patient's heart is beating, but the heart is crying for lack of oxygen. He's got severe pain and his heart output is dropped. If you hold the pulse, the still pulse is there. See, the pulse is there. No point in adding to that by pressing the chest. The patient is already having chest pain. You can't keep on pressing his chest. If only when there is a cardiac arrest means there is no pulse, no respiration, patient is not responding, then it's called cardiac arrest. If the heart attack, and most of the time we have gone through patients of heart attack, they are brought to the hospital, they keep talking to us, ECG is taken, and they are treated. They don't require CPR. They require CPR only when there is such a bad heart that it stops pumping. There is no pulse, no blood pressure, and person's brain is already getting knocked out. That's the time when CPR is required.
Doctor, we have been seeing a lot of WhatsApp messages, coming whenever we get heart attack, you should keep coughing. So just wanted to understand, is that correct? And if in case there is any, incidents as such, that we feel that we may land up with a heart attack, so what, what measures we can take?
I don't think that is anywhere mentioned in the books. They say that if you raise the pressure inside the chest, maybe the blood supply will improve. But I'll tell you a gross discrepancy of that. Most of the organs are supplied blood during the pumping of the heart. Only the coronary arteries are supplied when in between beats, because the pressure is already high, when the heart is contracting. That is the time when you can't pump blood into the coronary arteries. So in between beats, during the diastole, we call it systole and diastole. Systole is contracting, diastole relaxing. During relaxation time, actually coronary flow occurs. So you can't say that by coughing I am improving my coronary flow. I don't think it's correct.
So someone said, how can they differentiate between a chest pain that's happening because of acidity and a heart attack or a cardiac?
Right, very correct. So one is, we call it the various stages of coronary artery disease. Initial stages, this is called angina. Means early onset of the trouble is when, supposing there is a problem with your pipe that is carrying the petrol from your tank to the engine. There will be some amount of engine stuttering and sputtering. The engine will not pull well. But the trouble will be when the engine is running in top gear. But supposing when you park the engine, at that time there should be no trouble for the engine, because the engine is on neutral, it's not consuming any petrol. That time petrol shortage should not be leading to any crisis. So similarly, when a person is at rest, having pain, it's not angina, but can it be heart attack? If the pain is localized to left side and it is spreading to the neck or left hand or back, it is associated with a feeling of impending doom. We always heard that person when this pain is totally different from the rest of the pains in the world. You may be having pain in the leg, but you can walk 5 miles and go to the doctor. But a chest pain will tell you this is not a rehearsal. This is important. So that it's called anger animi. It is written in the Greek letters also. Anger animi means it tells you the patient that it is a serious one. And the literal translation is impending dissolution. That means the person gets the message, your father or grandfather suddenly has got a thinking, feeling that something behaving. So he calls the son, grandson, please look after your mother and behave well, study well. These are not fallacies, they are all truth, because brain is getting hypoxic. That is the time when it's the real emergency. Heart attack is there, but it's quite a severe one. Now about the other ones, cardiac arrest and all that, there's no time at all. But if the epigastric pain, like your person has got stomach ulcer, I got pain, but that is related to active eating. Either it is always timed, whenever I have food, I have this pain. Or 2 hours after the food, definitely I feel like belching and a lot of discomfort. We can time it together. It doesn't always go to the left side. Pain can be in stomach, can go back here, all over the place. So invariably, we have all the time a problem to differentiate between, is it only a gastrointestinal problem? Can I send the patient back and ask him to come tomorrow? Or should I ask him to come for an ECG? Now we got some more tests, like when they really doctor cannot make out, he says get an ECG done. ECG can diagnose majority of the thing. Supposing the already patient has got one ECG abnormal, so I can't make out what is happening. This one also is another attack or something. There's some blood test called troponin. So when a person comes to the emergency room, the doctor does two things. One is get an ECG done Second is called blood test called troponin. Troponin is an enzyme which gets liberated from the heart during acute heart damage. So if the troponin levels are very high, supposing it 10 or 20 or 30, he says come tomorrow, no hurry. Supposing if the troponin is already 500, 600, going to 1000, that means he is acutely suffering from heart damage. So these are the aids. Sometimes very difficult to make out because heart and the stomach are not only anatomical neighbors, but they are also upstairs and downstairs tenants in the chest.
So someone asked, so what food can we take to maintain good cholesterol? And
yeah, cholesterol is a part of your life. You cannot go away from cholesterol, and cholesterol is made in the liver from the oils that you are taking. Your food should have the normal person should have bit of carbohydrates, a bit of sugars, and a bit of atta, a bit of oil, and various types of dairy products. So these are the particular distribution. The distribution depends on what are the body's requirements. Supposing it's the pregnant mother, she requires more of milk and more of creams and all, because the requirement of the hormones which are to go keep the baby going and the baby's nutrition are different. Whereas if there's a person who is in muscle building, he wouldn't like to have fat, he would like to have protein. Protein are the blocks which make the body's protein. So we got two types of protein, vegetable protein and animal protein. Animal protein, of course, you all know. Egg, there's egg also, albumin is a source of protein. So we should think what is the body's requirement, and accordingly, the athletes who eat 4 eggs a day, but very cleverly they throw out the yellow of the egg. Yellow of the egg contains cholesterol, which the body he doesn't need. So people can take 4 whites of the egg, no problem at all, as long because he has to work out and build the muscle bulk. Proteins are also contained in pulses. Pulses are protein, like your wheat and dal are source of proteins. Now rice and maida are the sources of carbohydrates. Now rice is okay because many of our Indian people take rice, and maida and atta are two different things. They increase the sugar and may be bad for diabetes. So we have to cut short the intake of each of these items. This balanced diet should contain some amount of rice, some one or two chapati, and maybe some of curds and products, maybe a bit of meat or protein, the form of other vegetables. So vegetables are for bulk. Otherwise, the stomach will feel empty, no? So you have to fill the stomach with a lot of salads. So a very wise person in a banquet will fill the plate with salads and then take a little bit of protein in the form of a chicken or some other material or paneer, or may add a bit of rice. So this is the balanced diet.